The season 5 is upon us for Cowboys and Coffee. Can you believe we made it to season 5 already?
Yes, we did. Yes.
Can't
See,
believe
season
it.
5.
So we got fun stuff coming for this is episode 49, I believe. Episode 50 comes out. We'll put out probably next week. I think we got fun stuff. We'll hold off on that, what's coming.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's been an eventful few weeks since the end of the football season. And there's no, I think, more appropriate place to start than the retirement of Zack Martin, the nine-time Pro Bowl, nine-time All-Pro, seven-time first team, two-time second team. The only times he missed it was due to injury. So in 2020, and then this year, the great. What else can you say? More All-Pros than holding penalties in his career. What else can you say about
Well, let's go back to Mike Murdoch. Was it Murdoch? Mike
him? Mayock.
Mayock. When I told you to come in here because he was going against Aaron Darnold, and and he was saying, "Oh, this is going to be all pro." I go, "Oh, a Notre Dame guy. He's kissing up to Notre Dame." And guess what? That's probably the only good thing he did outside of the Raider thing was saying he's going to be an all pro, multi all pro, and first ballot Hall of Fame. Now, my question is, let's throw that out there. Is he better than John Hanna when you have Larry Allen and him as all time great?
That's the big question. Who's the better guard all time, Larry
Yeah,
Allen or Zack Martin? And Hannah obviously is there as well. You probably could throw Clay Matthews in there. There's some guys, but Zack Martin is easily one of the best offensive linemen of all time. In my opinion, one of the best guards of all time, probably the best guard, just absolute perfection. And when they talk about first ballot Hall of Famers, and that conversation went in, what's truly first ballot, uh, he fits the bill. No offense to Eli, who we both think will get in the Hall of Fame,
yeah,
but I don't think it was even close that he wasn't a first ballot Hall of Famer.
right.
I don't think there's any question whether or not Zack Martin should be a first ballot Hall of Famer. I think he should be in. You should
Yep,
just write him in tomorrow.
tomorrow.
Just let him know. 5 years from now, we'll see you in Canton, 2030. We'll get ready for that. Hopefully,
Mm,
the Cowboys will be in the Super Bowl in 2030, and we'll talk about him leading up to it. But he is truly one of the greats. You could go into one of those great linemen who didn't get to win a Super Bowl, even touch it. I mean, him, Tyron Smith, Travis Frederick. Short if Travis Frederick doesn't get hurt, you're looking at three Hall of Famers.
oh, and oh, absolutely. And the leadership's off the charts. His leadership,
Yeah,
because when Frederick said, "Meet me at the bowling alley," everybody's going to the bowling alley.
yeah. I mean,
Period.
Frederick was a five-time Pro Bowl, three-time All-Pro, and retired in his prime.
Yep.
Right now he's 33 years old.
Right.
You
Right. That's
know,
how.
and
Yeah.
he stopped playing in 2020, 2019. And
Yeah.
2019, he came back and made the Pro Bowl. So that's 6 seasons. He would have
Mm,
had at least two Pro Bowls, and if he has two Pro Bowls and another two All Pros, we're talking about like no doubt Hall of Fame player. So
yeah.
it's sad to see that he did not make it. Um, but that's how great the line was, and we're not going to
Mm,
make it. Tyron will make it eventually. Zack Martin is first ballot. Travis Frederick's going to be one of those should have been, woulda, coulda, should have been, but for
yeah.
if not, if he didn't get ill, that's what would have happened.
Mm,
So, yeah, I mean, sad to see him go. If there's anyone to go out on their shield, it's Zack Martin. Anyone to go
right.
out playing as hard as they possibly could, who literally had nothing left physically, it's this guy, and well deserved all the money he made. You couldn't say enough great things about him. That's how incredible he was.
Absolutely.
So,
They're right because he came off the elevator when we were walking on it. Right? Were you with us?
I was not that time.
No, you weren't that time. Yeah, because he was coming off the elevator with Witten, him, and I think Smith was there. Those three guys. Yep.
Unbelievable. So that is
No,
the end of,
Frederick. Frederick was there. It was
yeah,
Frederick,
Frederick.
not Smith.
That's the
Yep.
end of those great three offensive linemen that they had. Tyron Smith's a free agent. I don't think he's coming back. But I do want to switch to free agency and what has been going on there, specifically what ex players or one ex player has said. now that he's moved on from Dallas. DeMarcus Lawrence left to sign a deal with the Seahawks, and I would not have signed him to that money, being 32 years old and someone who we know is dinged up or injured a lot. He said, Dallas is my home, but for sure, I knew I wasn't going to win a Super Bowl there. And you know what? That bothered a lot of Cowboys fans. And let me tell you something. It
It
bothered this,
bothered you.
bothered me,
It bothered
bothered
you.
me. So you tell me your opinion on what DeMarcus Lawrence said and what's your opinion on it?
Well, listen, we have to understand the context of all of it. And listen, it's not on the organization that, not so much that he's how bad it is, it's this reality of former players as well. There's something they're not right. And that's what he's telling you. Let's read between the lines of this whole thing. There's a number of other players or other teams kind of give the same shade to it and the same, spin to it. We love it there, but they're not winning now. They're not winning there. And nobody wants to go to say Jerry's the reason why. They're not going to say that, but they're going to say something about it. They all love there in Dallas. They love it to the max. We all know this and we understand it. I didn't take offense to it because I understand where he's coming from. And listen, he's at the end of his career, okay? And the scenario with him, why does it say D? What happened there?
Lost your video, so it's okay. We'll get you back.
All right. All right. So he's at the end of his career. And guess what? He gonna make some money.
Yeah,
Like you and I would sign that contract. But remember, we don't know if he was offered one. We also know that others who left other teams were not offered things, contracts. DeMarcus Ware.
yeah.
So there you have
That's
it.
listen,
And
that's
I'm a
fine.
DeMarcus Lawrence fan. I adored him. I rooted for him.
That's
I rooted for him.
fine. And do me a favor, get your visual back up for me, please. The issue I have with DeMarcus Lawrence saying what he said was a lot of the other guys didn't like what he said on the way out the door. A lot of the other guys had a problem with it. And, Micah Parsons called him out on Twitter, said, this is what rejection and envy looks like. This is some clown stuff. And DeMarcus Lawrence fired back, says, call me a clown won't change the fact that I told the truth. Maybe you spent less time tweeting and more time winning, I wouldn't have left. Buddy, you were there longer than Micah. Micah's been there 7 less years and already has more sacks than you in his career. Micah is already all pro more than you are. Micah is already, I think, the same amount of Pro Bowls you've been in. Micah has superseded who you are as a player. You're going to talk bad about the Cowboys on the way out the door. Go somewhere else, but kick rocks. You think, oh, I knew I wasn't going to win a Super Bowl in Dallas. Are you going to win a Super Bowl in
Listen,
Seattle? Are you going to win a Super Bowl in Seattle? You signed a deal with a team who has no offensive line.
no,
You
no,
got the bag. Fine, move on.
gotcha,
Kick rocks.
gotcha. I gotcha. Others have made the same comment, and we're in a
And Cole
media era.
Beasley
We're in
and
a
Dalton
media now.
Schultz can
Everybody
kick
gets.
rocks too. I root against them too. I hope Dalton
I,
Schultz
I
breaks
did
the pit.
not. I was not for other comments. When you leave your team, you move on. I get that. I understand that, and good riddance to all of them. They move on, right? We get it. We know when you went to the Redskins team from the Dallas, we already know that you suck automatically, right?
Yes.
We get that, right? We understand that. Number of Cowboys who stunk over there, right? We get that. But I don't, I think he was bringing something to attention what's really going on in the locker room.
No, no,
It,
no,
it,
because he said no. He said in the
Micah knows, guys.
offseason,
Micah
no,
needed
no,
to shut
no,
his mouth up. No, Micah
no,
needed to shut his mouth up
no.
because
Oh
he's
yeah, because
doing
Micah
he's doing
doesn't
what
play
we're
well
doing
enough.
too. He's
Yeah,
doing what we're doing too.
Micah doesn't
Okay.
play well
And what
enough
did
to
the
talk,
veteran say
right?
about that? What did
Micah would have been
LT
defensive
say?
player of the year.
LT said, "Knock."
No, you froze, and that's what you
There
did.
you
Now
go.
I'm going to talk. DeMarcus Lawrence signed a 3-year, $40 million contract. He's not worth that. And you know what? before the season, he said he wanted, before the offseason got started, he said he wanted to try and make things work in Dallas. That's where it was. We know we have people from the organization who have told us DeMarcus was upset that he didn't get the offer from the Cowboys. He was hurt. He was butthurt. Okay. He was mad that the Cowboys didn't offer him his contract. And then on the way out the door, like a scorned little girl, like a teenage girl who got her heart broken, he was like, oh, I just knew I wasn't going to win a Super Bowl there. You left because of the money. Good for you. Go take your money and run. Cowboys didn't offer a 32-year-old a 3-year, $40 million contract because that's bad cap management. Good luck, Seahawks, with Sam Darnold, who is essentially on a 1-year, $37 million contract. And if it doesn't work out, it's the quickest thing to a teardown they're going to have. Good for you. Congratulations.
And he
Have
gets 10 sacks this year. I'm on record. He gets 10 sacks and makes the Pro Bowl because that head coach is very good out there, by the way. Just going to throw that out there. He
Yeah,
gets 10
yeah.
sacks.
They're going to be so good. I mean,
And Micah doesn't need to be making comments either. He should have shut his mouth up because he got his little YouTube. He put
no,
it in,
I need Cowboys going to stand on the star and say, ain't nobody talking trash about our team. And you know
in the
what?
game
Osa talked about
situation.
it
Got you,
too.
but he's
No.
not the only one.
When was the last time DeMarcus Lawrence had 10 sacks?
It doesn't matter. I
You just
understand
said
the
he's going to
numbers
have
game.
10 sacks.
I get what you're saying.
He didn't get 10 sacks under Dan Quinn. He's going to have 10. He had 10 and a half sacks in 2018. 2018.
I
Big deal.
remember it.
Big whoop.
Remember it. What is this? March what? Okay, there you
March
go.
17th. Big deal.
March
Oh,
17th, 10
I knew I
sacks.
wasn't, Dallas Mahomes knew I wasn't going to the Super Bowl there. You signed with the Seahawks. You didn't sign with the Chiefs or the Ravens or the Eagles or the Bills or some Super Bowl contender. Sign with a middling team with no offensive line. You just traded DK Metcalf and went with Cooper Kupp, who's also coming off injuries. Like get out of here. Oh, I knew I was going to win a Super Bowl there. Good luck winning a Super Bowl in Seattle. Have fun the next 3 years. Collect your paycheck. That's all you care about. You got your money. You got paid. Kick rocks. That's it. You don't like it. Too bad. Goodbye. You're hurt. Your feelings were hurt because Dallas didn't offer you the contract you wanted. So go cry somewhere else. So go reach into your pocket. I'm so I'm so sad. I'm so sad. Go ahead, cry
Where'd you
yourself
get money?
your dollar
Where you
bill.
get money from?
You find yourself. You'll be all right. Don't worry about where I got my money from. So, DeMarcus Lawrence, good luck.
10
Have fun
sacks.
with your 4.5 sacks. Sure, he'll make a big play against the run. You know, this, first of all, I'm not even done with this. This is the same clown who, in the playoff game where the defense didn't show up at all, got absolutely boat raced. He's like, oh, my legs were tired. Your legs were tired in a playoff game? Your legs were tired. You got embarrassed. And the best you can come up with is my legs were tired. Goodbye. See ya. Have fun. We don't want you here because
Yep.
you ain't getting any younger at 32 and you ain't earned that $13.5 million a year. So bye bye. See you later. Have your money. Go ahead. Get out of town. Loser. I don't need losers. We don't want losers. He ain't proved he was a winner. He gonna talk about Micah. You gotta prove maybe if you weren't tweeting, you would have won more. What did DeMarcus Lawrence win? He's a loser. And he's not DeMarcus Ware, who we're like, well, he was the best defender in the league for a while or in contention, defensive player of the year. Like that's never DeMarcus Lawrence. So miss me with all that garbage. Like you got upset, you got your feelings hurt, you got paid, go home, get out of here. Goodbye. See ya. Loser. Forget the losers who left town. We
Okay.
did lose some actual good players like Jordan Lewis, who was playing like one of the best slot corners in the league. And
Loser.
he didn't dog the Cowboys on the way out. I'll tell you that.
Loser. Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
keep your loser, DeMarcus Lawrence.
All right.
Anyway, the Cowboys have made, oddly enough, a slew of free agent signings, though most of them are 1-year deals. Were there any 1-year deals, or were there any contracts that stuck out to you that were like, "Ooh, I like that," or trades they made? Anything to you, or even a re-signing that you were like, "Well, that works well for me."
Well, our defensive coordinator,
Matt
he's a little,
Eberflus.
yeah, he's a little mastermind. He's a little mastermind. We see the results from the Colts from year 1 year to next, how they jumped in the off defensive rankings and stuff. I'm going to combine all the defensive line fronts players they got. I have to put it one. I'm happy with what they brought in because they have players now that I think are better than they had last year,
That's interesting.
and they're going to have a better scheme this year from day one, and they have players from the Saints and a couple other guys. Fowler's still in his prime. I think in the third down situations now, the key to our defensive coordinator, he's good against the run. That's the key to it. So once we let's get that problem solved because he's a big scheme guy, assignment guy, and he knows how to coach linebackers.
Yeah, that's the thing for me is I think they're drafting this defense or signing this defense to fit Eberflus's scheme. They're trying to get speed out there, which makes me really wonder about how they're going to stop the run. It's going to be how much scheme are you putting out there? Because you guys
Well,
are going to need some new players there.
well,
I mean,
The Colts, he jumped up to top five, top six against the run. So that's
it
his
also
record.
helps when you have DeForest Buckner in the middle there. You know what I mean? It helps
Yeah,
when you have some of that elite
and
talent.
Leonard was all pro under him too. Yeah,
Yeah. So that's very true. Solomon Thomas, Jack Sanborn, Kenneth Murray, all these guys are speed, speed, speed. I think that's what they're really focusing on is getting after the quarterback, Peyton Turner as well. Dante Fowler, I like that pickup, bringing him back, letting him start the opposite side. Let's see what Sam Williams and Marcus Nealon can do this year. Kenneth Murray, he's a missile. He'll have to work on his processing speed, but he can absolutely fly, which will have Overshown back as well. Sanborn, I really like in this defense. I think he will come in and really push Damone Clark. You know, you still have Liu Fao as their other linebacker, so I think their linebacking core is set. Re-signing Osa is the right thing to do. You know, he
overrated.
why is he overrated?
He's overrated.
He had a 12 and 12.3% QB pressure rate. It's one of the highest D tackles in the NFL.
How many sacks?
Same amount as Jalen Carter, four and a
Okay.
half. Is Jalen Carter overrated?
Nope.
He had a higher pressure
Carter
rate.
only had 6 sacks.
What?
He only had 6 sacks.
Jalen Carter had 4.5 sacks this year.
Really? That's not good at all. Not impressive. Ooh,
Thought he was overrated. So
wow.
just so you know, he had the second most. Osa Odigizua had 60 QB pressures, second most in the league at D tackle. He had a 12.3% pressure rate, which is the highest for a D tackle, and had the
Mamma
same
mia.
amount of sacks as Jalen Carter. So I don't want to hear about overrated. He pressures the quarterback. Sacks not the only thing that guys do on the D line. It's not the only thing. It's not the only thing. Now, Cowboys need wide receiver two, which leads me to we'll start and talk the draft a little bit. Reality is, I think that wide receiver two, Ted McMillan, as of today, I think just ran like a 4.48, which is probably closer. That's at the pro day, so it's probably closer to like a 4.53 or whatever. Um, for me, Ted McMillan is still the guy at 12. If you're Dallas, what are your thoughts with the Cowboys' first round pick?
Listen, I hope he's there because Gentry is going to go to the Raiders. There's no doubt about it. I'm telling you right now, it is Marshawn Lynch, the linebacker, the running back. Whatchamacall, Carroll's going to get him to bring him in. There's no doubt about it. I Carolina has to go defense. I don't see him going anywhere else. That'd
32nd
be
ranked
top 10.
defense. I mean, you have to.
Yeah,
They're not just bad, they're so bad.
right, right.
So
So if he's there, oh, because I seen him play.
Yeah, I mean,
Hmm.
I think the Saints could draft him. Um, I don't think the 49ers are going to draft him. They're going to draft line. And the Panthers, someone do something crazy like the Patriots at 4 because they need that wide receiver. I think the top pick will probably be Cam Ward, whoever goes there. The Giants trade up for him, or the Browns trade up for him, or the Titans pick him. Abdul Carter's up there. The question is, does someone nab Shador in those top 3 picks? If not, we could see him begin to fall. So then you get to, okay, well, who starts to shoot up the board? Does Ted McMillan go there? And if he isn't there, what do you do then? Now, if I'm Dallas, I would not mind trading from 12 to 18, flipping with the Seahawks. And according to the draft chart, you'd be able to get a pick in the second round
Oh,
to get that. So
oh, I
you get
love
down
that.
to 18. You could still take whatever wide receiver you want. Emeka Egbuka, Luther
Yeah,
Burden. If Ted McMillan's not there, you don't take him. If he is,
yeah.
you still take him. I wouldn't be upset with Burden or Egbuka. And then you get an extra second rounder who then second round you can go running back D line, or you can get Ravel, the cornerback from East Carolina,
Hmm.
and then get your running back or second round. This is ideal. If you're going to trade it back from 12, you drop to 18. You get your wide receiver, Emeka Egbuka, who I think is an excellent route runner. He's going to produce right away in the NFL. He's like a similar, like in that like Puka Nakua type. He'll produce immediately.
So here's what I want to bring in. Here's the key to Cowboys getting him is Warren and Will Johnson being drafted, the top 10.
Tyler Warren, and who was the other one?
Will Johnson,
The D lineman from Michigan? The cornerback
the
from
the
Michigan?
corner. Yep. Hmm.
I could see Will Johnson starting to slip a little bit. He hasn't performed well because of injuries in the on the off season, so he hasn't been able to show up. I mean, if you trade, let's say you trade out of that
Remember what you always say. Remember, son, somebody
someone
does something
does something
stupid.
stupid. They do. Someone always
Yep.
does something stupid. You're
That's
like,
guaranteed.
why did they do that?
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Hmm.
someone's gonna trade up, someone's gonna fall, someone's gonna do something crazy. You know, where does Travis Hunter go? I will be surprised. What do the Giants do at quarterback? Looks like Aaron Rodgers isn't going to go there. They're going to sign Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
You have to draft a quarterback.
They've yeah, you have to listen. They'd be crazy not to do Hunter if he's there.
But what
Travis
do you
Hunter,
do at quarterback
another
long
another
term?
wide, right? But I'm saying if they bring Wilson there, Wilson can play
Okay,
and get the ball to those guys because they got a
Russ
decent running back.
Russ is an adequate quarterback at this point in his career. He's nothing more than adequate. He's not a good quarterback, but I don't think he's really a bad quarterback. He's not, unserviceable, but he's certainly not going to win you games anymore. So he is adequate. I think he a top 15 quarterback in the league? No, he's not. He's probably in that 16 to 22 range. Um, and that's just off
But
the top of my head. It might be lower than that, to be honest with you.
when Pickens was had his head on, they were decent with him. When Pickens did not play well with the Steelers, he had no options. There was no options for Wilson.
Right.
I'm
And
a
now,
Wilson guy.
and that's another team. That's another team where you're like, could the Steelers try and move up and
They,
get a
they're,
quarterback?
they're not known for that. Yeah.
I know.
Who
And
knows?
they're at 21. Now they want to move up to 12. That's a big jump because they're rolling out Mason Rudolph at quarterback.
That's crazy.
I mean, just the season's over.
Yep.
What are
Yep.
you gonna, what are you going to do? The Steelers, the Giants, like, excuse me, you're going to trade for you're going to trade for Kirk Cousins, who Atlanta just kept and paid a $10 million bonus to.
They
Uh,
kept him.
They kept him on the roster and paid Kirk a $10 million bonus, roster bonus. So
Wow.
like Aaron Rodgers is talking about going to the Vikings as the prophecy foretold. I don't get why they want him if they
Yeah.
drafted JJ McCarthy. I mean, they must not believe in him at all, or just think like I'm not trusting Aaron Rodgers in any way to like put my future in him. Be like, oh yeah, 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 just help this guy. You know, do the Steelers like take a big leap and take Jackson Dart at 20 something in the first round? I mean, that's a big thing. I'm just not comfortable with. So
Mhm.
I don't know what to say.
This is gonna be. Listen, we're gonna have wings that night. It's gonna be an awesome because nobody knows nothing in this one. Nobody
No,
knows the number one pick. We always pretty much knew the number one pick. Nobody knows that, and it's going to be Ward and Sanders. Is he going to be a New York guy? There's no way he lasts in New
I
York.
don't know that
His little feelings are hurt. Daddy ain't around. He can be throwing up that little watch there. He throw two interceptions against the Cowboys running back. He ain't gonna be throwing that little watch up there, the little raggedy Rolex watch he has that Daddy bought him. Did Daddy buy it for him? Did Daddy buy it for him?
he can't throw his teammates under the bus in the pros because you won't get blocked for it. They'll get you killed.
Right.
Yeah, you know,
Mm.
he already
I
got.
like
Here's
Ben
the
Ward
thing.
though. I like him. I did like what he said coming out. Just be quiet, get in and do something. After you succeed, say a lot of people passed on me, blah, blah, blah. I get it. Don't say it before. It's bad mojo in the NFL. But I do like him in New York. Did the Browns draft a quarterback?
I think they have to. You know, what's the guy from the NFL Network who had the ears? What's his name? The little guy.
Soriano, Sir Tony. He's Italian
Yeah, Andrew.
guy.
What is it?
Yes, Andrew.
Andrew Siciliano.
Yes, yeah, I knew it was something like that. Yeah.
Talking to Miles Garrett the other day, and he asked him, you said you're going to leave and you decided to stay.
Yeah.
You know, are you comfortable at what they're going to do at quarterbacks? Oh yeah, I'm very comfortable. I said, do you know what they're going to do at quarterback? I said, yeah, we know. I said, well, what are they going to do? He says, I can't share that with you. So they have the second pick in the draft. So
Hmm.
they must have told him, hey, we're going to take one of the top two guys in the draft, and that's going to be our guy, and we'll
Sounds
go
like, yeah,
there. That's what it sounds like to me, that they try and move up. They flip a spot with the Titans to take Cam Ward. And then if I'm the Titans, I just drop back one spot, pick up a second round pick or whatever it is, and take Abdul Carter. And then you got a couple picks in the top of the second round too to rebuild because the chest is empty for the
right.
Titans. They're gonna rebuild the roster. So I'm gonna take
Yeah.
all the picks that I can and just get talent and worry about the quarterback next year. Not that Cam is not good, but to me, their timeline doesn't line up with Cam because Cam's going to have the snot beat out of him in Tennessee.
Mm,
At least they have a serviceable line or good line in in Cleveland. So I'd be more willing as an organization to say, okay, this is the guy, we line up with him there. So that's my thought process. The Giants, I think, have to try and make a move up from 3-1, right? But from what I hear, they're not on plan A or B, they're on plan E because things have not worked out for them at the quarterback position. And Shane has shown again that he has misunderstood the quarterback position and roster building. And Dable has to this is their last shot. And I know the ownership doesn't like to be the team that gets rid of guys every 2 or 3 years, a head coach, but it's been so bad and it's been so public. They have to do something. So did they try and throw everything they can to get the quarterback? You trade a first, second, and third, and a second next year to move up to one, and take Cam
crazy.
Ward and pair him with Malik Neighbors and say, listen, maybe we're not good, but we've got the quarterback wide receiver combo of the future. Keep us, let us stick around and do it. That might be the wild card play the Giants make, and even worse if they do that and it doesn't work out for Cam. Now you set your organization back for even the next generation of coach and GM who comes in. So a lot to think about. If I'm the Cowboys, though, since this is the Cowboys and Coffee podcast, I had a couple coffees today, by the way. I needed it today.
Yeah. Hmm.
Needed it. The Cowboys at 12, I'm taking a wide receiver. Wide receivers don't grow on trees and they don't come in free agency. The last steal of a free agent signing was probably like Emmanuel Sanders with the Broncos years ago. Teams just don't let them walk. You have to sign them and re-sign your own guys, like the
Right.
Bengals just did with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. You draft your receivers, you can pick up running backs anywhere else. Draft your receiver at 12, and then the second and third round, I would prefer a lineman in the second and running back in the third, like Trevion Henderson. That's just it. Where are these guys going to go? That's the million-dollar question. But for me, it has and continues to be wide receiver, D tackle, running back.
Definitely right. They brought in the running backs because they had none.
Right.
Um, they put the defensive line is set. I mean, they got five or six, they got seven guys, right? They got seven guys with NFL experience and so forth. So most likely it's an offensive player of a wide receiver, I would think.
Yeah.
If they pick Ty Warren, I'll go crazy.
I wouldn't be upset with Ty Warren either because I think he's the guy that they have been thinking that Kyle Pitts is going to be. He's that good. Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders, people are like, oh, he's the guy, he's replacing Rico Dowdle. No, they're drafting their starting running back, the Cowboys, which is why I could see them doing that in round two, drafting their starting running back, having their pick, maybe like Caleb Johnson from Iowa, right? But Javonte and Miles Sanders are not
Mhm.
replacing Rico. They're replacing Zeke Elliott and Deuce Vaughn. That's the reality of it. And
Right,
even more
right,
so, I
right.
would imagine only one of these guys will probably be on the roster come game day in the fall. I would my if I were a betting man, it would be on Javonte Williams, but you know these guys are not meant to be splitting the starting back carries. They're meant to be the backups, which Javonte Williams, another year away from that torn ACL and ACL and LCL, um, that might help him continue to heal
Right.
and just be
A big
better.
difference.
Yeah,
Yes,
I'm
big
not. I'm
difference.
not suggesting he's a 1,600-yard runner, but I'm suggesting he'll be more in line with what he was before the injury um, than what he was the last year. So that's
Right.
my thought there. Um, there was one other thing I wanted to say. Uh, Turpin, that's the other one. Does Turpin step up as wide receiver three next year? Do they actually get him involved with the offense? They threw him a slant, which he took to the house earlier in the year, and they never called that play again the rest of the season. So
Yeah, Shoddy, let's see what the head coach, the coordinator, is it Adams, the
Clayton Adams, yeah,
style? Yeah, Clayton Adams is going to run the ball. I don't think they're throwing 35 times a game.
no,
So that's where is he going to get five catches? You only throwing 35, and what happens is now you're going to have the other second receiver, your first round draft pick, hopefully step up.
yeah.
So I think there's going to be limited amount of him on the football field
Every
on
year
the offensive side.
you're paying a 3 year, 13, $0.5 million just to be a kick returner. Now he is that dangerous punt return, kick return. Don't get me wrong, but I think for that you got to get some more like third receiver, fourth receiver sets in for him to get him going. That's just me. What do I know?
Mm-hmm.
All I know is that we've dogged the Cowboys and we've dogged some of their decisions. And since Shoddy has taken over, they've started to do things a little differently. They've made trades for players, they've signed players. No, they're not signing the big name free agents for some reason. And I don't understand why they
They blew a
re-signed.
year of that.
I don't know why they restructured Dak and CD if you're not going to take that money and utilize it. If you're not going to utilize the cap space now from a restructure, you pay the big chunk of change now and line it down the road. What they've done with the restructure is they've now kicked the can they're not using the money right now. So it tells me either they don't
Mm-hmm.
understand how the cap works or they're cash poor, which doesn't strike me as something that Jerry Jones and company would really do. So it's surprising. If you're going to kick the can, one, what you need to do is you should have already re-signed Micah long term. Tyler Smith should be re-signed long term. Deron Bland should be re-signed long term already. And by waiting longer and longer, the price goes up. If you had signed Micah 2 weeks ago, he would have been below what Max Crosby and Myles Garrett got. If you had signed uh, um, Deron Bland a couple weeks ago, hey, 2 days ago, he would have been below what Derek Stingley Jr. just got, 3 years,
Mm-hmm.
$90 million. So by waiting, you kick the can and you're just wasting time and money. Save yourself money now, save yourself money later. And plus, it opens up cap space now to allow you. It would have allowed them to sign someone like a Joey Bosa on a 1 year deal, like he just signed with the Bills, and at least thrown him in the rotation too. That's it. Listen, we've got 3 minutes left. You got a shout out to anybody in this?
Yeah. My third grandson,
That's
Atlas.
it. We
One
just,
tech. One tech.
guys, Atlas Emmanuel, my third son was just born this week. Actually, this
Yeah.
episode's coming out Tuesday, so it'll be a week ago. So he's home with mom and his two other brothers, and everybody's doing well and having a good time. So
One tech.
he rocks. He's a lot of fun. So he's already picking his neck up and looking around at less than a week old as of today. And the
Yeah.
doctor's office today going, this kid ain't normal.
Yeah.
So
And next week at this time, I'll be in Rome. So there you go.
next week for our 50th episode here, we got a special recording, and we'll drop that soon too. And
Yeah.
we having our Cowboys and Coffee podcast coming out soon. All right, D. Anything else before we go?
That's about it.
Listen, you can find us through Designated Report. We're on YouTube. We're on Spotify. Like, share, and subscribe. You can subscribe for us. That'll help us. We're trying to push to
Yeah.
get the
Subscribe.
first big milestone of subscribers, and we can continue to grow from there. We talk coffee all the time. We talk Cowboys all the time, and we sip our coffee and do our thing. This is a special late night recording for us, but that's subscribe on YouTube and give us a listen. Let your friends know about us. We do have merch coming out soon, t-shirts. We've got stickers. If you're looking for stickers
Mm-hmm.
for computer or whatever, you let us know and we're here, baby.
Yep.
That's it. And Cowboys and Coffee podcast still coming to you live, season 5, baby. We did it, D, season 5.
Season 5.
All right, I love you. I'll talk to you later.
Love you. Bye.